Hello there, my friends. Matt Leger here with Maple Grove Productions, coming at you today with another Homesteading for Beginners video. Today's another quick one that I've been promising for a little while in the channel now, and that is to conclude our piece on fiddleheads. So as you can see here, we have a nice supply of them. These would go for quite a bit at the store. They were selling them at a grocery store nearby here last year for crazy prices. I don't remember exactly how much, but more than I was willing to spend. But we have a nice little supply. We've got not a huge patch in the backyard. I'll show you that here in a second. It's not a huge patch, but it's enough for our family and to make some small baskets for friends and family as well. So, yeah, that's probably, let me see, I would estimate 30 to 40% of half of our stock. So, I'm not great with numbers, but half of our patch of ferns, this is approximately 30 to 40% of that side of it, if that makes any sense to you. And the reason why it's such a little amount is you want to pick no more than 50%. Some people say to pick no more than 10 to 20% of them. I found that by picking 50% of the fiddleheads that there were still an enormous amount of ferns that came through once the fiddlehead season passed. So, as with all resources, you know, food or not, you don't want to deplete it completely so that it keeps coming back. You know, you take care of nature and nature will take care of you. That's kind of the theme here on this channel. Anyway, as I make my way over to the patch here, you can see them. Those, I don't remember what they're called, the brown parts here in the middle. These are actually the adult, the mature parts of it. And this right here, as I've shown before on the channel, give that a little tap. Most of the pollen has come off of it. That's how it pollinates, is with that. It's a very powdery, brown powdery substance that then gets on the ground and makes more. Makes little fiddleheads like you see down below right here. So I'm going to show you what to look for. The ones that are too far gone, like this one. Prime example. Once it starts getting all furry, come on, camera, focus. Once it starts getting all furry like this and growing leaves on the stem, that's too late. However, these down here are still pickable. And I've actually missed this little section here, it looks like. So I'll be able to take some more of those. I've got a little bowl here that I'm just going to collect for a friend of mine. But you can see, like that one over there beside that yellow flower, once they get more than, I would say an inch or two in height. See, like even this one right here, I wouldn't pick that one. That's a little too much for me. I like to get them when they're small like this. Even this one right here, that's probably the max height that I would pick. So you can see a little patch over there. And again, we're picking no more than 50% of these from each section. However, there is an exception to that rule, and that is if we go along the edge here, this is where I mow. So stuff like this, right? This is right on the edge. It's going to get trampled, it's going to get mowed, it's going to get destroyed. So here's an example of where you could clear cut them, because this is just going to get destroyed anyway. You know, if it was a little bit further in, like that one right there, I would leave that one. But you know, even I can feel them under, like this. This is almost too far gone. That's the other thing too, is some of these smaller ones, I wouldn't keep those. Some of the really small ones, like this, they have some brown stuff in the middle. They're not fully developed. So maybe don't pick those. Like these right here are perfect. This is right at the end of the fiddlehead season. You can see those are completely gone. And that bush over there in the middle. Just trying to give you many examples of what the ones that are, you know, not pickable versus there's even a little trillium in the middle there. But yeah, versus the ones that you could actually pick and eat still. The really small ones like this, don't even bother. Got brown stuff in the middle. It doesn't taste good. Probably not good for you. But yeah. So let's go find, this is the patch over here that we worked pretty hard. This side here, not as much. So I'm Gonna go through this pretty thoroughly and see what we can collect. Now, as far as how to collect them, there's different varying opinions out there, like with anything, but what I like to do is just grab the head. So for like this little patch right here, there are approximately 6 of them, so I'll grab 3, and I'm just going to grab, you don't need to use a knife or anything. A lot of the times if you use a knife or a tool or scissors, you end up doing more damage to the plant than just breaking off the head with your fingers. So there you can see some more that are almost fully developed there. Well, not fully developed, but you know what I mean, way past fiddlehead. But these here are still good, so we'll just grab it, grab the head between your fingers like that, and just go down maybe, I don't know, ½ an inch, and just break it off. Pop that in your bowl, and I'll show you after what to do to clean up this brown stuff here. So as I'm picking these, wow, my camera's not focusing very well today. Hopefully you can still see that. So that one's still okay. In terms of, while I'm picking these, in terms of timing, you want to start looking for the fiddleheads as soon as the snow starts to melt. As soon as the snow is gone, you start looking for them. So it is the 8th of May today, and this is pretty much the end. This is the last day that we're going to collect them, so that gives you an idea. So depending on where you are, probably beginning to mid-April, you should start looking for them. Keep your eye on them. Find your ostrich ferns or other edible fern variety. Make sure you know what you're picking and if it's safe to eat or not. But I'll give you some other instructions here in a moment once we're done picking them for actually cooking them, preparing them, and soaking them to prevent yourself from getting food poisoning, because there is a toxin in these potentially. There's a debate out there on that, but Health Canada advises to cook them on a rolling boil for at least 15 minutes or steam them for 10 to 12 minutes. That'll make sure that the toxin in them, or potential toxin, gets destroyed and they are digestible and edible. But yeah, speaking of edible, this is one of our treasured wild edibles that we look forward to every year. So I really wanted to make sure to get this because, you know, edibles are a big part of homesteading. Got to use your land, got to use what's around you to nourish yourself and your family. There's another one that's right on the edge line, so I'll probably clear those. They're just going to get stepped on anyway. Yeah. So there you have it. Another little collection here. Good harvest. We probably got twice this. One bucket's worth roughly inside, about this size, and then another one today. So it was about a week's window from that little patch right there. That's all it takes. Just a tiny little section in your yard, and you can have a nice bountiful harvest every year. Now, of course, ostrich ferns and other types of ferns that produce fiddleheads can be found anywhere. You can probably find those in your local forest, but make sure that you have permission, of course, from the landowner before you start harvesting wild edibles, or that it's okay and accepted in that area. So the only other thing to share with you, my friends, is the method that I use to get this brown papery stuff. That's normal. Some of them will have this brown papery stuff on it, and a really easy way to get that off of there is to just soak it. You can see the difference between these. So these have been soaked and carefully each one, you got to go through each one at a time and wash it by hand. Take off all that paper, but by soaking it, it loosens it up. It makes the whole process a lot easier. But here you can see kind of the difference between one that hasn't been cleaned up and one that has. So soak it. I soaked mine overnight. I probably wouldn't recommend it because it's going to make the fiddleheads get soggy and stuff over time, but soak them at least for a couple of hours to really loosen that up. Rinse them in a colander like this Rinse them at least 2 or 3 times to get all the dirt and any other contaminants off of there. And then to preserve them, I mean, if you're going to cook them right away, like I said, rolling boil for at least 15 minutes. Not enough to the point where they get mushy, but enough that you thoroughly cook them and kill all the toxins in there. You can steam them for 10 to 12 minutes. Or if you want to preserve them, you can blanch them with a really hot rolling boil. I think with a little bit of salt. Don't quote me on that. But blanching usually involves salt. So a little bit of boiling water, some salt, rolling boil with these guys for at least 2 minutes to blanch them real good. And then you can freeze them. Just remember that when you take them out of the freezer, that you have to cook them still thoroughly for at least 10 to 15 minutes. So that's it for today, my friends. Hope you enjoyed this homesteading for beginners video on wild edibles. One of my favorite wild edibles, actually. Fiddleheads. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one. Be well, happy gardening, and happy spring. Take care, my friends. Bye-bye.